All right, so if you've been following the Wotan saga, you know things are about to get really, really different. We're diving into part two, and let me tell you, it's a total game changer. Wotan isn't just, moving house. He's literally forging an entirely new reality. So, how does he pull that off? Let's get into it.
Okay, so here's our game plan for today. First, we'll look at how the old world ends with the arrow finds its mark. Then, we'll step into his bizarre new world, Welcome to Neo Arcadia. After that, we'll explore who he's become in the Voyager of the Void and what he's up against in the evolved conflict. And we'll wrap it all up with this incredible concept, the walking mountain.
All right, first up, the arrow finds its mark. This is all about that massive critical shift that kicks off part two. You've gotta love this metaphor, right? The arrow of longing. Think about it. This is everything Wotan is. His entire will, his struggle, everything he's been aiming for since he left the herd behind. Well, that arrow was bound to hit something eventually. And part two? That's the bullseye.
Now, here's where it gets really fascinating. This new reality, Neo Arcadia, it isn't built from scratch. Not at all. It literally rises up from the gray wasteland of the old world. It's a reality built on what the source material calls the desolation of obsolete delusions. So right from the jump, you know this place is born from ruin, and that's absolutely key to understanding it. Which brings us right to our next stop. Welcome to Neo Arcadia, the so-called Second Olympus. Let's really dig into what this place is all about. So what is Neo Arcadia exactly? The first thing you've got to get out of your head is this idea of it being some kind of paradise. It's not. Think of it as the literal, physical embodiment of Wotan's will. Everything he stands for, his values, they've become the landscape. He's called the meaning of the earth, right? Well, Neo Arcadia is that earth. And these characteristics, man, they tell you everything you need to know. It's a new, harsh Olympus. The keyword there is harsh. It's a place of power, for sure, but definitely not comfort. It's all about glorious isolation built on the sovereignty of ruins. What does that mean? It means all those old safety nets we build, government, religion, society, they're completely useless here. They just don't work. And that idea of glorious isolation, remember that because it's going to be huge. So we have the place, Neo Arcadia. But what about the person? Who has Wotan become now that he's arrived in this kingdom he made? That brings us to the Voyager of the Void. And it all comes down to this incredible paradox, the homeless sovereign. I mean, just let that sink in. He's a sovereign, right? He dictates reality here. He is the law. But at the same time, he's homeless. He has all this power, but no actual home, no place to rest or get comfortable. He's always in motion. And this quote just nails it. He embodies terrible freedom. Why terrible? Because it comes from this earth-shattering realization that all the things we humans chase for comfort, they're just obsolete delusions. Imagine that. Absolute freedom, but it's terrifying because you see the truth behind everything. This is that glorious isolation we talked about, but now we're seeing it from inside his head. So that's his new title, his new job description really, the Wanderer. He's not some king sitting on a throne, he's a seeker of truth. He's basically become a force of nature, operating outside our ideas of good and evil. And maybe the most important part, he can never, ever go back to the shore of being just human.
I absolutely love this open ocean metaphor. It's the perfect way to picture his situation. He's sailed way past the coastline, past the herd and all that. He's in the deep, open ocean now. The freedom must feel incredible, right? But look at that second point. There's no shore to return to. He can't go back. So his journey isn't about belonging somewhere anymore. It's about perpetual becoming. He is always in the process of creating himself, always moving forward. So that leads to the big question for part two, doesn't it? If you're constantly wandering, constantly in this state of becoming, how do you keep it up? How do you resist the temptation of that sweet oblivion of human comfort? Because that's the real enemy here, not some monster, but the little voice inside that wants to go back to being comfortable. It's a non-stop internal war. So if the main fight is internal, what about the external threats? Well, a being this powerful needs a completely new kind of enemy. And that brings us to the evolved conflict. Yeah, see, Wotan's not fighting monsters anymore. He's fighting a god's-sized cage. And this isn't a cage with iron bars. It's a metaphysical trap engineered by Mephistopheles.
And what's it made of? Well, Mephistopheles has weaponized slave morality. Ideas like pity, equality, safety above all else. He's turned these very human desires into the bars of a prison designed specifically to trap a god. And then there's his shadow, his dark mirror, Faustus. This comparison here just lays it all out, plain and simple. You've got Wotan, the creator. He's the wanderer, creating new values, all about freedom and that perpetual becoming. Then you have Faustus, the consumer. He's a shadow who just feeds on the ruins, totally bound by his contract and stuck in the past. It's the ultimate clash of creation versus consumption.
All right, let's pull all of this together now. There's one final, powerful image that just perfectly sums up everything Wotan has become. The walking mountain.
Just picture that for a second. A mountain that just gets up and starts walking. That's Wotan now. He's not on a human scale anymore. He's this massive elemental force in motion. And he's not interested in the cozy little villages down below. His eyes are fixed on the stars, on some distant cosmic horizon.
And here it is, the final piece of the puzzle. He realizes that his greatest strength is the very thing that seems like a weakness, his isolation. That's what gives him his power. That's what makes his footsteps sound like thunder. So the ultimate question we're left with is, where on earth is a walking mountain headed?